Today, TPD officers arrested and charged a suspect for 2 of the recent sexual assault offenses in the Lake Highlands community. The suspect has been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, felony 1, for the February 22nd offense that occurred in the 10,000 block of Ferndale Road. He's also charged with 1 count of sexual assault, felony 2nd, for the March 15th offense that also occurred in the 10,000 block of Ferndale Road. The March 19th offense that occurred in the 8700 block of Aldwick Drive remains under investigation to determine the most applicable charge. Bond has been set at $4,564,000. On March 25th, 2013, officers received a Crime Stoppers tip regarding a possible suspect. The tipster shared specific information regarding an individual whom they believe resembled one of the composite sketches that we released. The tip was immediately reviewed by the department's Fusion Center, and additional information was developed into an intelligence packet. This intelligence packet was vetted by our sexual assault unit detectives and assigned to the Dallas Police Department's Metro Task Force for field investigation. Officers from the Dallas Police Department's Metro Task Force and the Northeast Patrol Division Deployment Unit continued the investigative process and developed workable leads to the suspect's residence and vehicle. At about 1 p.m. today, Dallas Police Department Metro Task Force officers located the suspect. Shortly thereafter, they stopped this suspect on traffic violations, southbound and North Central Expressway at Walnut Hill. The suspect exited the freeway and drove into an adjacent business parking lot where he abandoned the vehicle and fled from officers on foot. The suspect was pursued and apprehended by our officers after a brief foot chase without incident. The suspect was then transported to the Crimes Against Persons Division, where he gave detectives a voluntary statement admitting his involvement in all 3 sexual assault offenses in the Lake Highlands community. A palm print from the March 15th sexual assault offense has been matched to this suspect. The suspect also voluntarily provided a DNA sample. The sample has been delivered to the Dallas County Lab for forensic analysis. The suspect is identified as Cesar Benitez, a Hispanic male, and has been booked into jail. The Dallas Police Department has asked Dallas County not to release the suspect's photo while the March 19th offense continues under investigation. Before I take questions, I'd like to thank the Metro Task Force, the Northeast Deployment Unit, the Sexual Assaults Unit, our Fusion Unit, volunteers in patrol in the Northeast and North Central Dallas area, Crime Stoppers, and the Dallas area media for providing tips, lines, and information to the public to help us in this investigation. I'll take questions.
Chief, can you tell me again where he was arrested? You said that
North Central Expressway at Walnut Hill after a vehicle and foot chase. And then he was apprehended by our officers after a short foot chase.
Sorry, and what date did you get that tip, and what specifically did the tipster say?
March 25th is the date we got the tip. And the tipster gave specific information about the suspect, particularly the scratch marks that we were talking about in our initial briefing that the suspect may have.
the scratch marks from the 3rd.
Yes.
You said you developed evidence or followed him over a week to develop intelligence. Was there anything specific today that gave you the go-ahead and make a
What we thought today that led us to apprehend him is that the task force officers had done exceptional police work in determining that he would be at that particular location at that particular time in that particular vehicle. Really good police work. I can't thank the officers enough for their diligence in this area, because this was a needle in a haystack search. And they put a lot of information together, a lot of different moving parts together in order to be at the right place at the right time when the suspect came out.
What was he doing there at that time? Did you have reason to believe he was maybe stalking or watching another person? And why did he get spooked and decide to take it?
We believe he had been changing locations pretty regularly. We believe he was on the run. We have some information that leads us to believe he was headed back to Mexico. And so he was changing locations, and our officers made a guess at this would be the location he would be at today at that time.
When you say changing locations, you mean changing locations?
Where he lived.
Where he lived?
Yes.
Chief, have you talked to any of the victims since the arrest?
We have asked each of the victims to come in for some additional interview and also for some additional lineups information.
So he lived in the area?
At one time he had, and then at one time he also lived north of the area, and at one time he lived in another city, one of the suburbs of Dallas.
Where was he living currently?
We're not sure where he was living currently. He was on the move quite a bit. He had just absconded from a lease. He left a lease early before it expired, and officers had talked with one of the managers of that apartment complex, which led them to the location where we actually captured him. Yes.
Why did he flee? What happened that led him to?
I think we believe we were on to him. He knew he was the suspect, I believe, and we had traffic violations that we were trying to stop him for, and he bailed out of the car and fled on foot, and we captured him.
Was it a chase that happened, or did you just get behind him and then try to do the traffic stop?
It was a traffic stop that led to a car chase that led to a foot chase.
So he admitted involvement in all three cases?
He gave voluntary statements that only the suspect and the victim would know.
The bond for?
The bond, again, is $4,564,000.
Sorry, one more time?
$4,564,000.
How old was he?
He's a Hispanic male. He was born on September the 21st, 1982. Sure. Cesar, that's C-E-S-A-R, Benitez, B-E-N-I-T-E-Z.
Did you give you any indication on statements about how he pursued his victims? Were they random? Was there a connection at all between the women that he took to go after?
None of the victims knew this suspect. He did give information, but we're not ready to release that type of information at this point.
And what is it? Why is the March 19th? Why does he not be charged for that?
We're deliberating on the most applicable charge. There are some loose ends on that particular offense. Of course, the DNA analysis will firm that up here in the next couple of days, we hope.
You think by the end of the week you expect that back?
We hope so, yes.
And that's when you release the picture?
Well, the picture is kind of a dual reason. First, we want to not jeopardize any type of interview we're going to have with the victims as we pull them in over the next few days. We may want to do a photo lineup. We don't want that picture in the media to jeopardize and taint that photo lineup. So that's a couple of things that's happening really fast. And we just ask that you all really help us out here in this area and not find other ways to get that picture and put it out, and these victims would see it and then taint it, the photo lineup.
The size of the bond, is that unusual in your opinion for a case of this nature?
Quite appropriate, I think, in this particular case. This suspect terrorized this neighborhood, and this neighborhood has lived in fear And I know a lot about the Lake Highlands community. It's a very strong, tight-knit community, and we hope that they have some sense of relief that the suspect has been brought to justice.
Have you had any, or your officers had any previous contact with the issue or anything in his criminal history that went forth committing crime?
We're not ready to release that information, that part of the information. Any other questions?
Will the reward be paid to that visit that you think that
There's some issues with that particular tip. Crime Stoppers determines that, and we'll defer to Crime Stoppers on that question, if you don't mind. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.